the place to be. For we are creative people. Stay tuned for the best, and the rest of your life.
And think about how we will plan how Africa's children will return to the ancestral land.
Yeah, my name is Odidi. Presently I advise the government of Nigeria on trade, tourism, and investment. I have my office here in Atlanta, and it's our desire to see how we can work in partnership with your group to achieve what exactly you want to achieve.
All right. Now, we've been in communications. You met Bishop Ellaby in Nigeria. That was how long ago?
I met Bishop Ellaby exactly about 2 months now, about 2 months ago. Okay.
And I understand that at the time he was looking for a way to actually get transfer or tour or put a package together so that Africans born in America could actually repatriate to Africa with their talents and skills.
Yes, that was exactly what he discussed with me, and it fell in line exactly with some of the plans we had in the long run, and I think it's something we can actually do. There is a project in Nigeria today called the Tinaa project. You can actually look at the website www.tinaa.com.
And how do you spell the Tinaa?
Tinaa is spelled T as in Tom, I, N as in Nancy, A, P as in Paul, A as in Apple, tinaa.com. It's a very beautiful site. The government of Cross River State in Nigeria spent close to about $2 billion in developing this site. It has an excellent studio. It has shopping malls. It has everything that would make life comfortable for an average Westerner. And the plan right now, as I told you earlier, is to see the possibility of developing real estate inside Tinaa. So Americans that are willing to repatriate can comfortably apply for loans here in the United States. They are pre-qualified and they are able to buy real estate in Nigeria. The loans are payable back here as you pay your regular mortgage. But to give them the opportunity as they repatriate to Africa or back to Nigeria, they live in one of the most beautiful parts of Nigeria with excellent landmass, and they can participate in whatever they want to participate in. Those of them that want to get involved in trade, we give them the opportunity to get involved in trade. Those that are coming in with skills, we give them the opportunity to participate in different industry. It is my belief, and very strongly, that for Africa as a continent to come out from the current poverty, there have to be a direct link with African Americans. That link, the success, the development, the growth, the future of the African American lies in their relationship with their fatherland. It's a common thing that the Irish Americans identified this long time ago and identified themselves with the Irish in the United Kingdom. So I believe, and very strongly, and Cross River State as a state, we are very willing to provide that support.
Wow.
Both the moral support, we are also willing to provide logistic support to make this happen. So we have some of the frameworks we are putting in place right now, and it will become clearer as the weeks progress how the whole thing is going to work out and how this transition is going to work.
All right. Now that's information that a lot of us have been waiting for. We want to repatriate, but we want to receive a welcome, and we want to be welcomed. I mean, in a way that there's no feeling like I'm begging or I'm not really wanted, you know, I'm going here, but I have to see if they really want me here.
Yes, we are working on a program. The first set of people, about 25 to 28, we are going to give them the opportunity to visit Cross River State, and they will be received by the government. They will be apportioned a part of the city where they can actually stay, and the first group is due to travel anytime from now. Once that group travels and see the reality, they will be able to tell the rest the seriousness of the government of Cross River State in Nigeria to engage in this enterprise. And one of the things I can assure you all, and very confidently, is that we as a people in Africa, we are ready to welcome as many African Americans that want to repatriate and then come back home.
Good news. Yes, indeed. Well, now, talking about Cross River State, most people that think about Africa, they basically think about war and lions and tigers and snakes and living in a tent or living, uncomfortably. Tell us about Cross River State.
Cross River State is one of the most beautiful states in Nigeria. It's a very, very peaceful state. The capital city in Cross River State is called Calabar. The unique thing about Calabar is that 1 in every 3 black men in America today came from Calabar. If you look at history books, about 30.1% of the slaves came from what they call the Bight of Biafra. The Bight of Biafra is Calabar. It's Calabar South. And it's a place to visit. A very welcoming people. We have it's a tourist state. In Nigeria, Calabar is referred to as a tourist state. We have beautiful coastal city in West Africa. It's often referred to as a tourist state. We have some of the best tourist sites in Nigeria. We have the Obudu Mountain Plateaus. It's a very beautiful plateau. We have the Abokim Waterfalls. We have the Tinaa during the transatlantic project, but it's a beautiful state. Every Nigerian that talks about Cross River State, they talk about it in terms of tourism. But what makes Calabar unique in history is that 1/3 of all the slaves, slave trade, came from Calabar.
Now, you said that it's not a slave trade, it's actually...
Yes. As I said earlier, if you look at books in the United States and in Europe, when they talk about slavery, they refer to it as a form of trade.
Yes.
But if you get to Calabar, you have the opportunity to meet with the kings, which is one of the things I did the last time I went. You hear the history of slavery. Most people in Africa talk about the history of slavery. They talk about slavery as a process. They talk about slavery as a process where a people were forcefully taken from their homelands. But the story is different if you come to the Western world. If you come to the United States, they talk about the slave trade. The question is, if slavery was a form of trade, what were the terms of exchange?
Yes.
What were the terms of exchange? Western scholarship tells you the terms of exchange was gold, was diamond. But this is not true. One of the countries in Africa today called Ghana was originally called Gold Coast. So Africa had most of what you would have said were the terms of exchange. Slavery by no means was a form of trade. It was the forceful removal of a people from their homelands. Today, the way the world is organized, we are forced to believe what the media tells us. We are forced to believe what scholarship tells us. But is that the truth? How can we back these things? With logic? How can we back these things? With common sense. Common sense tells us that slavery was not a form of trade.
All right. Well, tell us this. Now, we have information on on the website, WACP.tv. And we're actually explaining that there is a journey that goes from Atlanta to Africa. And this journey is put together so that we can compile some of the sharp minds, some of the people who want to repatriate, some of the people who have talents and skills and want to mix those talents and skills with the government. What is the government actually asking for in terms of people to come and do trade and business and repatriate?
One of the first projects we have in mind is going to be an exploratory project. Exploratory in the sense that we are going to sponsor a group of African Americans to come over to Nigeria, to come and see things for themselves, to make decisions for themselves, and when they come back, they can tell the rest what they saw. The project is supposed to take place anytime from now, and those that are willing to participate in the project, we like to know the value you're bringing to the table. What are your skills? What exactly, why exactly do you want to go back to Africa? We want to make sure we don't have a situation where we have people that end up to become a social liability to the state. But what are you bringing back?
Yes.
So those are the basic things we are looking at to those that may be willing to join the next group that will be visiting Calabar in Cross River State. The trip will be fully paid for, and again, as I said, the whole purpose for the trip is exploratory. Come over, come and see for yourself, and we'll see how we are going to create a city within Calabar that as many black Americans that are willing to come back to Africa can come. We would encourage even those who are not willing to repatriate, they can still own real estate within this city. It's a place for vacation. It's a place you can go back and call home in the proper context. And Cross River State as a state is willing to take this opportunity to work hand in hand, like in the United States, to achieve this dream.
All right then. Now, in terms of money, can you share with us how much a dollar would be worth in Naira in Nigeria? In other words, this dollar that we're talking about, it's declining here, but what is the rate in Africa to this dollar if you were talking about paying rent or doing some type of economics?
I think if we are to look at it, we have to look at it based on the purchasing power of the equivalent in Nigeria. A typical example would be mortgage or your rent. A middle-class family in the United States pays an average of $600, $500 to $600 for rent a month.
Or more.
$500 or $600 in Nigeria will translate to about 75,000 naira. But in the same vein, what you actually need to pay for rent in Nigeria in a modern apartment is about 25,000 naira. So you need just about $150 to pay for rent in a month. There are cases where you may need far less than $100 to pay for rent in a month in a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment.
Okay, so that would boost your credit rating up some from wherever it is here. Your money would go much further.
The first set of African Americans that want to come for the exploratory trip, I want them to make that judgment themselves. Once they have the opportunity to come in, and we show them the sites, they see the commitment of the government, then at that point, when they come back, they're in a better position to convince the rest and give them a timeline on how the process is going to work. But the atonement project is something that we are ready to embrace. It's something the government will be willing to work with, and we are going to to do our best to see how it becomes successful and fruitful.
Very good. Well, is there anything else that you would like to share with our listening audience? We have all types of talented people, creative people, people that can work magic just about with their hands and their minds that are right here in America that are being laid off. So is there anything that you would like to share that would help them to make up their minds about repatriating or working with this particular group?
Yeah, those that are thinking of repatriating and have skills, they can send in proposals. Send in proposal of exactly what you can do, how you think you can fit into that system. And you can look at our website, www.crsnigeriainfo.com. Look at that website. It gives you a proper perspective of Cross River State. It gives you a proper perspective of the tourism potential. It gives you a proper perspective of the investment potentials. And then once we receive this, the resumes, it gives us an opportunity to shortlist some candidates that may be qualified to join the exploratory trip.
All right then. Well, we want to thank you, and this has been an official meeting here, meet and greet.
And we are going to the promised land. Dr. King, you can rest in peace because we will make it to the promised land. You didn't get there with us, but we are going to make it.